Hey folks, this is Kalani. Legendary crafting was recently enabled on the beta client, which allows us to look at every legendary effect that's currently in game. More classes are getting effects with almost every build, and this one just and so happened to include some of the best effects we've seen so far, including the return of a Holy Priest legendary from Legion that I'm sure many of you will remember fondly. Demon Hunters, Paladins and Monks also got their legendary effects in the latest build, so let's dig through those and see if there's anything else to get excited about. Before we jump in, be sure to pop by our live stream sometime over at twitch.tv/KalaniTV. We stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday at 12 PM PST, and we always love chatting with you wonderful folks, so I hope to see you soon. Let's kick things off with a change in legendary powers rather than some new stuff. You might remember that Priest was one of the earlier classes to get their legendary powers revealed, but one of them has been kicked to the bucket already. As a side note, this kind of shows that all of this is subject to change. A power can very easily be replaced, so if something looks pants, chances are it could be swapped out for something a bit shinier later on. But the Holy Priest legendary effect that gave Prayer of Mending Healing a 5% chance to grant you Apotheosis, that's gone. Down the toilet, bye-bye. In its place, and I know you're going to be excited about this if you play Holy Priest, Zan Shi, Return of Archbishop Benedictus. After Spirit of Redemption expires, you will revive at up to 100% health based on your effectiveness during Spirit of Redemption. After reviving, you cannot benefit from Spirit of Redemption for 10 minutes. The free Battle Res Cloak is back for Holy Priests, which gives you such a huge safety blanket that you can exploit for various bonuses. You can cheese mechanics, you could ignore mechanics for the spirit duration, it can be used as a mana cooldown, it can literally just be a, oh, oops, battle res that doesn't count towards your group's battle res timers. This cloak is going to be huge, once again like it was in Legion, and the first pickup for any serious raiding Holy Priest, at least for the progression anyway. That's probably one of the more powerful effects that could have returned to the game, and I'm personally happy to see it again. Alright, let's talk new news. Demon Hunters just had their legendary effects revealed, so we'll go through those next. Remember, everyone gets 4 legendaries for your class as general effects, and then 4 legendaries for each spec specifically. That brings the current Demon Hunter total to 12 because they only have 2 specs. Let's start with the general ones. Apexis Empowerment. Metamorphosis now increases your size, movement speed and melee range by 100%. This is a fun anima power in Torghast, but I don't think it works particularly well as a legendary effect. Sure, being twice the size is pretty funny, and moving quickly is always nice, but there's no real damage component in there. It might be good for running old content where you can make use of meta quite often for the speed boost, but outside of that I don't see too many uses. But you let me know. Maybe you're more creative than me. Can you think of anywhere this could actually be useful and not just a bit of fun? Darkest Hour. You automatically trigger darkness when you fall below 35% health. This effect can only occur once every 2 minutes. This could have some use in general play, but I think it will really shine in PvP. Demon Hunters get a talent to increase darkness's chance to avoid attacks by up to 70%. If you get a free darkness every 2 minutes on top of your actual darkness, that could be insane, and it could be incredibly difficult to kill a Demon Hunter with this legendary. Dark Glare Medallion. I-Beam and Fell Devastation has a 20% chance to not incur its cooldown. This is another power from Torghast and could be incredible, but if you're putting all of your power into the hands of the dice again, maybe not super ideal. Chaining I-Beams back to back to back to back could be hilarious though, but if this never procs, you never benefit from it. It could have some powerful interactions with Demonic though, even for Vengeance. Sigil of the Illidari. Casting I-Beam or Fell Devastation summons an allied Demon Hunter who casts I-Beam or Fell Devastation. If that Demon Hunter sticks around to do a bit more damage, this could be a lot of fun. Right now it doesn't, but can you imagine if this could be combined with the chance to not proc the cooldown? I-Beams for days, that would be brilliant. And then we have the Havoc Demon Hunter specific effects as well. Chaos Theory, Blade Dance has a 10% chance to grant you Chaotic Blades, increasing the damage of Chaos Strike by 25% and its chance to refund Fury by an additional 60% for 8 seconds. That takes you up to 100% chance to refund 20 Fury on every Chaos Strike. Quite powerful. The extra damage is going to be nice as well and could pair well with talents like Essence Break. Erratic Fell Core, the cooldown of Fell Rush is reduced by 30%. Probably kind of useless now that they removed things like Fell Mastery, but oh well, dash around a bit more. Inner Demons. Chaos Strike has a chance to unleash your inner demon, causing it to crash into your target and deal chaos damage to all nearby enemies. This could be huge for AoE or cleave, depending on how often it procs. With Blade Dance having its target cap reduced, more AoE is always going to be useful for those huge Mythic Plus pulls. And then we have Throw Glaive. Immolation Aura damage has a chance to grant you a stack of Fell Bombardment, increasing the damage of your next Throw Glaive by 20% and launching an additional glaive at a nearby target. This effect stacks up to 5 times. This could be hilarious for cleave and AoE. Throw Glaive hasn't seen much use in a long time, at least as a key part of your rotation, so it being a focal point of a legendary could really change things up. And then we have the Vengeance legendary effects to look at as well. Fiery Soul. Each soul fragment consumed by Soul Cleave reduces the cooldown of Fiery Brand by 2 seconds. This could give you access to that major cooldown much more often, which will definitely be useful. Not too exciting outside of that though. Razalik's Defilement. Soul Cleave reduces the remaining cooldown of a random sigil by 8 seconds. 8 seconds off your Sigil of Flame, or Sigil of Silence, or Sigil of Chains could actually be huge. More DPS, more AoE silence, more control, it's always going to be useful. And then there's also Cloak of Fell Flames. You take 15% reduced magic damage while Immolation Aura is active. Magic damage reduction is hard to come by these days, especially for the tanks, so I wouldn't be surprised if this was an early pickup for magic damage encounters in raids, but not too exciting at the same time. Spirit of the Darkness Flame. Your Fiery Brand now heals you for 100% of the damage done, and each enemy hit by a Sigil of Flame increases the instant damage of your next Fiery Brand by 15%, stacking up to 15 times. This is more like it, making your abilities interact with one another. That stacking damage increase could be huge, and the extra healing on top of it could be nice as well. So there are some interesting options in there for Demon Hunters, and quite a lot of passive meta effects too. A few stick out as significantly better, or at least significantly more interesting, but I wonder which legendary will end up being the best mathematically. Sadly, that's what will decide most of these decisions, the best option for DPS, but at least we can craft the legendaries we want in the order we want, so that choice is still left up to us. Paladins are another class that just had their legendary effects revealed, and I am super excited about Protection Paladin in Shadowlands so far, so let's check out those ones next. For the general powers, we have Uther's Guard. Your Blessing of Freedom, Blessing of Sacrifice, Blessing of Spell Warding, and Blessing of Protection cooldowns are reduced by 1 second when you spend Holy Power. Useful for getting some of those utility spells back faster, but I wonder if this will ever be good enough to be used as a legendary by itself. Liadrin's Fury Reborn. Casting Avenging Wrath or any Forbearance ability grants 5 Holy Power. I can see it now, casting Blessing of Protection or Bubble or Lay on Hands for that sweet 5 Holy Power DPS gain. That's actually potentially very useful for Holy in a pinch as well. From Dusk Till Dawn, when you reach 5 Holy Power you gain Blessing of Dawn. When you reach 0 Holy Power you gain Blessing of Dusk. Blessing of Dawn, damage and healing increased by 6% for 10 seconds. Blessing of Dusk, damage taken reduced by 6% for 10 seconds. An interesting Feast or Famine mechanic where you would ideally trigger both as often as possible, a potentially strong option for offense and defense at the same time. I guess they're maybe struggling for names here because we have another Uther's Guard. Judgment has a 50% chance to reduce the cost of your next Holy Power spender by 1. A little boring, some decent potential, but I think some of these other effects blow it out of the water for sure. Here are the Holy specific ones. I think spec specific effects are always a bit more interesting. Shock Barrier. Holy Shock protects the target with a shield of Holy Light for 18 seconds, absorbing damage every 6 seconds. Shield effects are always very valuable, and tying one to Holy's most used spell could make this a good pickup. Shadowbreaker, Dawn of the Sun. Light of Dawn's range is increased to 40 yards and all allies inside your Light of Dawn receive 10% increased healing from your spells for 6 seconds. Increasing the range of Light of Dawn has always been useful, so I imagine this one will see quite a bit of use for that alone. Inflorescence of the Sunwell, Infusion of Light has 1 additional charge and its effects are increased by 20%. This is maybe the least exciting one, but at least it should have its uses. Protection is up next, and ooh boy am I excited about some of these. Holy Avenger's Engraved Sigil. Your Avenger shield has a 50% chance to have its cooldown instantly reset when used. Yes, yes, and more yes. It's made its triumphant return, and honestly I would be shocked if this doesn't get nerfed, because it's amazing, it's hilarious, and it's crazy powerful. If this stays in the game, my Protection Paladin is going to be so happy. The Ardent Protector's Sanctum reduces damage taken while Ardent Defender is active by an additional 10%, and when you activate Ardent Defender, it will also apply to the nearest ally within 15 yards. This is actually very interesting. It would allow you to give your second tank a cooldown if they ever needed it, or it would just help mitigate damage on encounters that are hitting both tanks at the same time, and it's a free defensive for your melee in dungeons as well. Seems pretty good. Bulwark of Righteous Fury. When Avenger's Shield returns to you, each target hit by Avenger's Shield increases the damage of your next Shield of the Righteous by 40%. This is another potentially fantastic option. If you get some good Grand Crusader resets, this would be a huge damage boost for a prop paladin. And then Reign of Endless Kings. When you drop below 20% health, you become infused with the Guardian of Ancient Kings for 4 seconds. This cannot occur again for 45 seconds. And then you've got a bit of a free cheat death in there for good measure. Though 20% health is a low threshold, if you're that low, I imagine you might still die anyway, even with Guardian of Ancient Kings active. And of course we have to look at the rep paladins as well. Tempest of the Lightbringer projects Divine Storm forward 20 yards, damaging all enemies in its path. Look familiar? Probably looks familiar. Also increases damage dealt by Divine Storm by 20%. The ranged Divine Storm is back, ladies and gents. Another huge effect to get excited about. As if Ret's AoE wasn't good enough already, now you can do it at range as well. Again. Relentless Inquisitor. Spending Holy Power grants you 20 haste for 12 seconds per Holy Power spent, stacking up to 20 times. I imagine the haste value might scale with something, but this isn't the first time we've seen this kind of stacking power increase for spending Holy Power. It's going to depend on the final value, but this could be a great effect, even if it is a bit boring. Badge of the Mad Paragon. Hammer of Wrath extends Avenging Wrath by 3 seconds and deals 20% additional damage. The extra damage is nice, but extending Wings, and potentially extending Crusade, could be massive for Retribution. Hammer of Wrath is about a 7-second cooldown, depending on haste, and you're going to use it during Avenging Wrath anyway, so you're getting an extra 3 seconds every 7 seconds or so. You could extend your Wings for quite a while with this legendary, and it only gets better the more haste you get. And then we have Final Verdict. Replaces Templar's Verdict with Final Verdict, a devastating strike that deals holy damage and has a 50% chance to activate Hammer of Wrath and reset its cooldown. A huge replacement effect that can also trigger some free damage with a Hammer of Wrath and reset its cooldown to provide you with even more DPS. Combining this with the previous one would be massive, but sadly, we are still limited to just one legendary right now. Maybe sometime in the future that could open up. Paladins look like they have a lot of great options so far, especially Prot, which I'm very happy about, and the Paladin looks like a secure pick for me so far, but we'll have to wait and see how everything else pans out with Covenants and the like. And the last class we have to look at today is the Monk. The general stuff and Brewmaster effects aren't available yet, but we can look at the Windwalkers and Mistweavers, so at least there's that. For the Mistweavers we have Uplifting Mists. Your Renewing Mist also applies Extend Life to the initial target, instantly healing them and increasing all healing done to them by 15% for 12 seconds. When you heal with Enveloping Mist or Vivify, 50% of the heal is also applied to targets with your Extend Life effect. An interesting effect for helping to spread your healing around a bit further, and that healing done increase is also going to be a nice buff as well. Soothing Focus. Healing with Enveloping Mist or Vivify while channeling Soothing Mist increases their healing done by 6% and reduces their mana cost by 10%, stacking up to 3 times. When your Soothing Mist channel ends, this effect is cancelled. Save some mana, heal a bit more. What's not to like? You'd have to make great use of your channel time to maximize this effect though. Ancient Teachings of the Monastery. Your Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, and Rising Sun Kick heal for 50% of the damage done to an injured ally within 20 yards. This could help make fist weaving more of a thing in Shadowlands. I guess we'll have to wait and see if everything else lines up or not. Celestial Breath. Activating Thunder Focus Tea causes you to exhale the breath of Yulon, healing up to 6 allies within 15 yards over 2 seconds. This sounds really cool. I can't wait to see more green, shiny Mistweaver breath being spread all over the place whenever they drink some tea. And then for the Windwalkers, we have the Emperor's Capacitor. Chi Spenders increase the damage of your next crackling Jade Lightning by 100% and reduce its cost by 5%, stacking up to 20 times. A massive Jade Lightning strike could be really fun to play with and give you a ranged option that actually deals damage if you ever needed it. Pressure Release. Whenever you deal damage to a target with Fists of Fury, you gain a stack of Chi energy up to a maximum of 20 stacks. Using Expel Harm will cause the enemy to detonate in a Chi explosion, dealing damage to all enemies within 8 yards. The damage is increased by 5% for each stack of Chi energy. As I said earlier, more AoE is always going to be beneficial with how restricted some classes have become with target caps. That won't stop us pulling everything in dungeons though, so more AoE is always welcome. Rushing Tiger Palm. Tiger Palm now has a 4-yard range and increases your crit strike chance for 25% until cancelled on the target. When used, you instantly dash to the target. The increased crit strike effect cannot occur more than once every 30 per target. This sounds like it could be amazing, both for the DPS to increase legendary and also to help close gaps between yourself and a target. Not that monks needed more mobility, mind you. And the last one is Zuen's Battle Gear. When Fist of Fury ends, the critical strike chance of Rising Sun Kick is increased by 30% for 5 seconds. Rising Sun Kick crit strikes reduce the cooldown of Fist of Fury by 1.5 seconds. Why am I not surprised to see a combo effect in the Windwalker section? If you love that kind of thing, this should fit right in with your playstyle. And that's all of the new legendary effects we have to look at right now. Be sure to keep an eye out for more as the beta unfolds. Legendary crafting is available for testing right now, so I'm sure getting all of the legendary effects in is a high priority so every class can get their hands on them, do a bunch of testing, and most importantly, give lots of feedback. I'll be sure to do the same thing for the classes I know the most about. Having the legendary system available so early has been great for testing so far. It's fun to see what kind of abilities we might get our hands on, and it's important to point out the ones that just don't do enough. But what do you think of these legendary effects from what you've seen so far? Are there any that stick out as super awesome, amazingly fun? And are there any that you just don't think will be useful or exciting whatsoever? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. If you want to explore the alpha or help us get ready for Shadowlands, you can find us over at twitch.tv/KalaniTV. We stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday at 12 PM PST, and watching the stream and coming to say hi is one of the best ways you can support the channel right now, and if you ever wanted to be included in the long list of names at the end of every video, a subscription on Twitch is the easiest way to make that happen. You get a free sub to any Twitch channel if you have Amazon Prime too, so be sure to take advantage of that. A big thank you to everyone who has subscribed on Twitch already, and to our supporters over on Patreon. You can see their names floating by on screen. If you want to join these lovely guys and gals, well, now you know how. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave. If you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I will see you next time.